The Western media loved this story. They reported the story as a princess giving up her title to marry her college sweetheart, a commoner. He came from a humble background who made a name out of himself. The two fought against tabloids, gossips, and oppositions to get married after 4 years of delay. It's a romantic Disney-style true love story, isn't it? Or is this a story of a relentless bully who comes from a family that cheated the system, bullied his way through his life, and is now abusing his connections and privilege to get what he wants? Let's have a look. Hello world, this is Dean from Japan. How are you doing today? So today I'll be talking about why a lot of Japanese people were upset and angered by their marriage, and especially this press conference the couple held on October 26th after registering their marriage.
私はマコさんを愛しております。
Formerly, Princess Mako of Akishino is the first child of Prince Fumihito and Princess Kiko. Because she is no longer a princess, I'll be referring to her as Mako and not Princess Mako for the rest of the video. Her engagement with Kei Komuro, who she had met at the university, was announced in May 2017. This was a big deal because female Japanese imperial family members have to give up their royal status when marrying a commoner. And because aristocracy doesn't exist anymore in Japan, the pool of suitable candidates for female members is immensely small. At first, the Japanese public was excited. Kei was working as a paralegal at a law firm, came from a humble single-parent household where his mother Kayo had raised Kei by herself, and seemed like a young man with a promising future. They seemed like a cute couple that were finally tying the knot. So what could go wrong? In December 2017, a friend of a man who is commonly referred to as Takeda came forward. Their friend claimed that Takeda was a former fiancé of Kayo and had lent the Komuro family over 4 million yen, or $35,000. The money not only went to support the Komuro family, but also went to Kei's tuition. So you could say that thanks to Takeda, Kei was able to meet Mako. It was reported that Takeda became unable to pay his house loans due to giving money to the Komuros and had to move houses and even had to sell his own car. Kayo refused to pay the money back, saying that it was a gift and not a loan. Sorry, but $35,000 is almost never a gift. Some of you might be thinking, if it's the mother who is not returning the money, why does this matter?
Listen.
Let me explain, right? A part of the duties of the imperial family is to set an example for the nation and to stand as a role model for all Japanese people. So the Japanese people have been told to look up to them ever since we were kids. And because of this, the taxpayer money does go to support them. So the question is, would you want a family suspected of being thieves to join a family that is supposed to represent Japan, the nation? And even if you don't agree with all this is the current system that is in place. And some of you might still think that this is a bit silly, but once a little bit of dirt comes out, that's when the avalanche comes crashing in. Thank you for the visual aid. Some of these allegations that came forward just sound like some gossip, but I'm gonna go over some of the crazy media storm that was around the Komuros and let you decide which story is of legitimate concern while which one isn't. And there's so much dirt on this guy. His reputation is like real life pig pen. Firstly, there are many conflicting stories about Kei's family, and I can show sympathy toward his situation here, but that's where it ends. His father died when he was in 4th grade, but I've seen some reports saying that he died from suicide. His paternal grandparents have both died within a year of his father's passing, reportedly from suicide. So you can see how some people can start coming up with conspiracy theories related to Kayo Komuro. And the fact that Kei went to private schools throughout his school life kind of makes people wonder where the family got all the money from. And of course, there is a bullying allegation. I think bullying during grade school shouldn't be used to judge someone as an adult, but it can paint a pattern. Back in elementary school, Kei and other boys bullied a classmate. Let's give him a generic Japanese name like Tanaka. Tanaka stopped going to school because of bullying, and when he started receiving interview requests, after Kei's engagement to Mako was reported, Tanaka contacted Kei to ask whether he should accept the interviews. When Tanaka mentioned about the past bullying, Kei stopped responding. Kei also bullied a girl for 4 years in the middle and high school. She dropped out from school and became a shut-in for 2 years. In an interview, she said that Kei had derailed her life. I do think that these stories are somewhat credible, and although we're only hearing one side of the stories, assuming that they are true, I feel that Tanaka was better off directly asking Kei to apologize, but I also don't understand why Kei can't just apologize. Is this a power thing? After the controversy with the ex-fiancé Takeda arose, the marriage got pushed back, and Kei went to the US to study. He got accused of running away from the scandal, but he did get into Fordham University School of Law in New York, which is very expensive. And he got a full scholarship. It is extremely rare for a Japanese student to get a scholarship like that. And because the university website had an article introducing Kei as Princess Mako's fiancé, that made people question whether he applied to the university saying he's a fiancé of a princess to get the scholarship. And if you thought being accused of using your status as a fiancé to apply to school was bad enough, he is also accused of lying about his resume. I think we all pad our resume a little bit, but he supposedly lied about doing an internship with Dentsu, a famous ad agency, and then lied about winning 2 awards during his time at Mitsubishi UFJ Bank. And his lying allegation gets even weirder. On the website of his future employer, Lowenstein Sandler, he was introduced as having won the JFK Profile in Courage Award. This is an award given to American politicians and public relations persons like Barack Obama. So yeah, if he lied about it, that wasn't a good lie. And again, the imperial family is supposed to set an example to the Japanese public. Do you think he is a good example? And yes, I did say future employer. So he still hasn't passed the bar exam and still got into a major law firm in New York. And if you thought all this was bad, Kayo, his mother, didn't help at all. She is currently being investigated for receiving survivor's pension in a fraudulent manner. So she was eligible to receive survivor's pension after her husband's death, but then she entered a de facto relationship with a guy and still kept receiving this extra amount of money by asking the guy to keep the relationship a secret. Needless to say, welfare money is supposed to go to people who truly need it. And oh my god, the accusation still goes on. She is accused of faking her illness to receive disability allowance from her workplace. The amount she is accused of receiving fraudulently could be up to $140,000. And again, people are wondering if she is not being prosecuted because of her son marrying the princess. So the media and the opposing public painted this picture of the money-hungry Komuros trying to sneak their way into a position of great privilege by marrying Mako. Normally, when a member of the imperial family leaves the royalty, they are given a lump sum payment of 152.5 million yen or $1.38 million so that they can maintain their lifestyle and dignity. Because you don't want to see former royal members flipping burgers, and they still need to live in a nicer part of town because they need proper security. Mako said that she will relinquish the payment, probably to appease the public and to show that it's not about the money. But people still weren't happy. There were protests by die-hard imperial family fans, and she had to skip marriage rituals because the marriage was not blessed by the public. I do think that the tabloids went a bit far at times. For example, his past photos were dug up and people criticized him for looking like a party animal, like a womanizer. He apparently attended a university lecture that gave out free pizza, got the pizza, and didn't stay for the lecture. Also, obviously, there's the obligatory plastic surgery rumors. I mean, that's a little bit too much to gossip about. When he returned to Japan earlier this October from New York, the media lost their mind because he had a ponytail. And when he finally snapped that horsetail, the media again rushed to report it all at once. Oh my god, a guy cuts off his ponytail! I mean, it's kinda nice that a man is getting scrutinized over his looks and not a woman for a change. And people were also laughing at his picture uploaded on the Lowenstein-Sandler website because it looked like he was wearing a pajama. Oh my god, people can be so mean. But if you're gonna marry into wealth, do you really care what people online have to say? Hell, I'll probably pay someone to find and read just the positive comments about me. I do think that the Japanese can be a bit strict about appearances, and one of the reasons why I don't do YouTube in Japanese, aside from the obvious reason that more people speak English than Japanese, is because I get tired of comments about my appearance. It's really hot in this room. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a ring light on, and sometimes I want to be able to wear a tank top while talking about the news. And also, my beard grows really fast because of my ethnicity, and I don't need Japanese gay guys writing obscene comments about my appearance, and other non-gay Japanese people just writing things about my appearance. It kind of gets tiring a little bit. That being said, Kate's ponytail was really ugly. It's like a poor man's samurai hair imitation. It was reported that Mako was suffering from complex PTSD from the amount of media backlash and scrutiny. But a lot of people actually cast doubt to this diagnosis because she's still planning to travel to New York with Kei following her marriage, and she was making public appearances. On the 26th, Mako and Kei gave a press conference where they accepted no questions. So it was just them saying what they had prepared and what they wanted to say. They pretty much said that all the allegations weren't true, thanked those who had supported their marriage, and Mako said that Kei went to study abroad under her directions so he could create a base overseas. And in terms of the money problem with Takeda, the ex-fiancé, Mako said that Kei followed her instructions and did not act alone. So it's been 4 years since the money drama surfaced, right? Do you think that they had settled it? The answer is no. In April 2021, Kei released a 28-page document where he explained why he hadn't paid back despite being able to study abroad and that he was willing to pay. You could have just repaid the guy, right? During the press conference, Kei said that Takeda, the ex-fiancé, wanted to meet Kayo when receiving the money, but Kayo's doctor said that she wasn't psychologically fit enough. I think Takeda should have just gotten the money and ended the ordeal, but seeing that he's been trying to get this money for something like 10 years, I think the way the Komuros is handling is a little bit cold. I also completely understand him wanting to meet his alleged perpetrator for some closure if he had felt a great deal of betrayal. But that being said, I don't understand why it took ages for the Komuros to return the money. You'd normally think that the smartest move is to pay the guy back when the scandal arose. So I don't understand why they just didn't do this. I wonder if there's something more to the story. I'll be posting an analysis video of the press conference, but Kei could hardly contain his laughter. So I think it was better that they didn't do the press conference. I don't think they made any new allies, and a member of the Imperial family admitting to giving orders on how to deal with personal problems of citizens is a bit shocking because the power imbalance is way too much. Also, accusations of abuse of their privilege is something that the public should be able to question about, but they simply held a press conference where only they said what they wanted to say. I just want to clarify one thing, right? I have no idea what it's like having paparazzi chase you ever since you were a baby. I understand that Mako probably felt like a caged bird where she didn't have the freedom to do whatever she wished. When she was just 13, a picture of her in school uniform caused a stir online, and gross online geeks started drawing manga illustrations of her, some of them sexual in nature. I completely understand that Mako never chose her life, and she probably wanted to escape the Imperial family. But at the same time, I'm sure that she never had to even think about doing all the jobs like waiting tables to support herself during her university years. And do you have any idea how boring working as a waiter while studying is? She was able to study art history and art museum and gallery studies in the UK, and journalists think that she can easily find a job as a museum curator in New York, which is an extremely competitive field that normally requires years of experiences. She probably never has to ever worry about things like paying the rent, job security, and post-retirement savings. So even if she no longer wanted to live as a member of the Imperial family, as someone that benefited from the system, I think there was a more graceful way of exiting the stage. My personal opinion on what I think is the issue from all this is that people just don't like unfairness. And you know what I mean if you've seen those animal videos where the animals get upset because they didn't get the food when other animals did? I especially loved this video where a bear nudges the other bear, which got the fish to go away. There was a famous experiment where two monkeys are in a cage side by side, and if you give one monkey a cucumber, that monkey is happy at first. The monkey eats the cucumber and is really excited about it, but when that monkey sees that you're giving another monkey grapes, what do you think happens if you keep giving a cucumber to the first monkey?
And she gets cucumber again.
So yes, even animals don't like perceived unfairness. I think for our society to run smoothly, its people need to know that when a gross injustice occurs, it does get dealt with, and it is not rewarded. Seeing a guy who is reported to be a bully that comes from a family suspected of having cheated the welfare system, who then marries into wealth and is suspected of using his connections, it just doesn't sit well with many people. If none of the allegations are true, they could just explain it. I mean, Kei studied to become a lawyer. It must be really easy for him, right? Or even if all the allegations are true, he could pay back the welfare money now that he has access to immense wealth and give the money to people who truly need it. I do have issues with how the Western media painted the story. Although I do agree that bullying was too much at times, most of the Western media painted the Japanese public as being unreasonable and was just upset at a woman making decisions. They made this into a feminist story. People like things like Squid Games, which has some commentary on social inequality, but the Western media doesn't like it when the Japanese public question people misusing their connections. Again, I don't agree with bullying, but at the same time, you don't have to congratulate someone that goes to university with other people's money and refuse to pay it back. As a side note, when Mako left the palace and said goodbyes to her family members, she hugged her sister, Princess Kako. People online were deeply moved by this, making comparison to Anna and Elsa from Frozen. In conclusion, I think Kei should have just married Meghan Markle and all this problem would have gone. So that was the saga of Kei and Mako. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section. I'll be posting the analysis of the press conference and other interesting videos. For more Japanese news, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, take care. And man, this video was so long. My voice is dead. So much dirt on one guy. Man, live honestly.